Hi YouTubers, Brendan here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Kurbaan. I know, you guys are like, what is Kurbaan? I never heard of that. It's a Hindi movie that came out in, what's it called, November. It came out this November, and it's just a really well-made movie, and you guys are like, Brendan, how'd you find out about a Hindi movie? You guys know I work at Blockbuster, and one of my customers that comes in, his name is Philip Tan. I talk to him all the time when he comes in, and he did the action stunts to this movie, and I'm like, shit, I'll go check it out. He's like, hey, go check it out. It's at the Fallbrook Theater. I'm like, okay, and and I didn't know it was a a Hindi movie, so I'm like, oh no, there's gonna be subtitles, and oh man, I struggle with reading. I didn't have a hard time with it. I found myself understanding about 95% of this movie. It's just a really well made. The cinematography of this movie is fantastic, especially the scenery in like India and stuff at the beginning. Because the beginning of this movie is it fades up and this lady's hailing a cab. Then this other guy walks up and like stands in front of her and tries to get a cab before her, like he's hailing a cab too. And it had this little game of them going in front of each other and stuff. I can't say, I don't want to say their names wrong, the stars of this movie, or the names of the people in this movie, the character names, because I'll probably sound stupid trying to pronounce them right. It's them playing this little game, and cause she was there first trying to get this cab, and he just keeps going in front of her to hail the cab, and then the cab comes for him, and then she ends up jumping in the cab before he gets in, and the cab starts going, and as the cab's going, he's sitting there going like he's sick and he's dying or something. So she sees him she sees that in the in the mirror. So she tells the cab guy to go back and pick him up. And she's like, oh, I didn't know you were sick. Go ahead and get in the cab. What's a few minutes? Another cab will come in a few minutes. It's okay. Get in the cab. And then the guy's like, okay, thank you. And then he gets in the cab like there's nothing wrong. She's like, oh, you bastard. But she didn't say you bastard or anything. But he gets in the cab and goes, and she's like, ugh. So after that she goes to her school, where she works at, and she sees him there. And then they sit there and talk, and he's sort of in love with her, thinks she's cute and stuff. So he's like, would you like to go out with for coffee with me? And she's like, I don't like coffee. How about tea? Ugh, I don't like tea. But it's just this whole thing of him trying to, get to go out with her and stuff, and the whole love story begins of, them hanging out and, doing things together, falling in love, for about the first half of this movie. And, like I said, the scenery in this opening half of this movie is fucking beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And, and after the whole thing of them, montage of them falling in love, they want to get married to each other. So, they have to go talk to her father, to ask for her hand in marriage and stuff. And to tell him that, they're going to be moving to New York because she just got a job in New York. So they go there to tell her father, like, we're going to go to New York, Daddy, So they tell him, then they go to New York. They have to, they're trying to find a place to live. And there's another montage of them trying to find a house to live in. And they're like, oh, honey, look, it's a place, where a lot of, Hindi people live. Let's go there. It's a town just, full of, Hindi people. So, they move in and stuff. And then the day they move in, the next door neighbors come over. Like how in other movies they come over. Would you like a piece of pie? Welcome to the neighborhood. Type of thing. Hey, they come over and say, hey, we're having a party tonight at 8. Come on over, welcome to the neighborhood. They're like, okay, we'll be there at the party, And the stars of this movie, the two stars of this movie go to the party and stuff. But then, how Indian culture are, Indian culture is like, women are not supposed to work. You're supposed to do what the men tell you type of thing. So the women are like, herded off into the kitchen, and the men are in the, the living room talking to each other. And, then after the party, they're blah, 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 they're talking to each other, then they go home. And then the next day, the lady that was throwing the party comes over knocking on the door, pretending to give her something, like some sweets or something, saying, she comes in the house and says, my husband beats me. There's all this stuff going on. I need to tell somebody, but please don't tell my husband I told you. And the whole movie, this takes like a big turn. and it turns into like a rear window, the Hitchcock movie type of thing, with the main star of this movie keeps looking out of this window, and she hears the screams coming from next door. She sees the lady from next door running outside to get into the car to try to leave, but her husband takes her and pulls her back in the house. And this whole thing when the lady, the main lady from this movie goes to that lady's house at night, tries to find her and stuff, and she can't. And so somehow she gets into the basement of the house, and she sees the men, all the men in the house gathered in this corner talking to each other about some really messed up stuff that's going on. I don't want to ruin it for you anymore, but she bumps into this table, and the hand pops out, and it's the dead hand of the lady that was at her house, earlier that day, telling her, something bad's going down. And it just, it's just a really fantastic movie. I really recommend you guys check this one out. Fantastic acting fantastic acting all around. The last 30 minutes of this movie will have you, just like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, it will have you, gripped and stuff. It's just a really good movie. I really recommend you guys check this one out. It's called Kurbaan. I don't know if, it's not playing in all the theaters around, but, it's one of those ones, if you're not going to see it at the AMC or anything like that. You might see it at one of your art house ones down, I don't know where your art house ones are where you live, but yeah, but I really recommend you guys go check out Kurbaan. The trailer's up on YouTube, and there's clips of it on YouTube and stuff. I really recommend you guys check this one out. See you guys on the next video.